everyone, I'm Kelly from Cully Kid, and today we're going to make a Mediterranean chopped salad and learn how to follow a recipe and prepare our ingredients. So we'll start by looking at our recipe to see what we need before we get started. So this is our recipe, and we can see from the title that we're making Mediterranean chopped salad. We should always read the full recipe before we begin to make sure we have everything we need and that we're ready to start. So we start with looking at our ingredient section and gathering every ingredient that's listed in this section. So from our recipe, we know we'll need romaine lettuce, cherry tomatoes, feta cheese, some cucumbers, chickpeas or garbanzo beans, and Italian dressing. Then you want to make sure to read the directions to figure out what supplies you need for this recipe. Supplies is a little trickier, so we know from reading the recipe that we'll need a large mixing bowl to mix everything with, as well as something to mix it with. We also know from reading our ingredient preparation that we will need to cut things, so we'll need a cutting board and knives. We'll need to open a can and drain something. And we also have some prep bowls here for when we're done prepping those ingredients. We're just about ready to get started. We always start by washing our hands, which I've already done, but go ahead and do that if you haven't yet. The next thing that we need to do is make sure that all of our produce is washed. So any fruits or vegetables, you always need to wash them. So we will start by washing our lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumbers. We'll lay our lettuce down on the paper towels to dry and keep our tomatoes and cucumbers draining in the sink. Before we can move on to step 1 that says add all ingredients to a large bowl, we need to prep our ingredients. So we need to chop romaine lettuce. We need to cut cherry tomatoes in half. We need to chop cucumber. We need to open, drain, and rinse a can of chickpeas. We need to crumble feta, and we need to measure Italian dressing. So our first ingredient listed was 1 head of romaine lettuce chopped. So we need to chop our romaine. So we'll start with our romaine lettuce on the cutting board. So we will grab our knife and cut off this root, and we will roughly chop this lettuce into bite-sized pieces. Then I'm going to put this into our bowl, and if I find some big pieces like this, I will just tear them with my hands as I go. And we've set that to the side until we're ready to use it again. We'll just clear off our space a little bit to tidy up and then move on to the next step. The next ingredient is half a cup of cherry tomatoes cut in half. So we get our cherry tomatoes, and this time we're going to use a serrated knife, which just means it has these little grooves in it, because that makes cutting a tomato a little bit easier. And we grab our prep bowl, and my prep bowl has a half cup measuring mark on here, so that's all I need to measure my amount. But if you don't have something like that, you can use a measuring cup, add your tomatoes into your cup, and then put it into your prep bowl. So we take our cherry tomatoes and cut it in half right here. So you have these two. So we'll keep going until we fill that up. and this is about to the 1/2 cup line, and so we'll set that to the side as well. So the next ingredient is 1/2 cup of cucumbers. So we'll take our cucumbers and take our prep bowl. Again, we're finding our 1/2 cup measuring line, and since we have these little ones, we're just gonna do a slice. If you have thicker ones, you could cut them in 1/2 long ways first, and then slice from there. Cut off the ends. And then slice to the thickness that you'd like. And we're going to do just a little bit more, and I'll point out here how we should be holding our knives, which is pinching at the blade and wrapping the rest of your fingers around the handle. We're using a bear claw when we hold our food down, so that way we don't get our fingers in the way of the blade. And as we get closer, I'll move my hands down to give myself more room. And that should be enough cucumbers, so fill that up, and again, set it to the side. And the next ingredient is 1/2 can of chickpeas, drained and rinsed. So we will get this out of our way, grab our can opener and our can. Okay, get this opened by getting our blade in and then twisting around. Okay. So you can see that this has all this liquid in here, which is what they mean by drained and rinsed. So we're using this strainer to drain out the liquid. So we're going to just pour that in and do about 1/2 a can. Set that to the side, and then we'll rinse this under cold water. Okay, and we'll set this on the counter here. And next we need 1/4 cup of crumbled feta. So you might have feta that's already crumbled into little bits, but I have this block of feta. So we need to open this up. I'll take it and put it on my cutting board. I'm just gonna grab a small knife and break off a piece. Grab our prep bowl, find our 1/4 cup measuring line, and just break it apart with my hands into small pieces until it reaches the 1/4 cup line. We have just a little bit more than 1/4 cup in there, but that's okay. And last, we need to measure our dressing. So we're grabbing our last prep bowl or measuring cup, finding our line, and shaking up our dressing, and then filling it to the line. And put that to the side as well. Then we can move on to following our directions section. Okay, so now that we've prepped all of our ingredients, we're ready to get started on the directions section. And the first direction says to add all ingredients to a large bowl. So here we go. Take our bowl, lettuce, followed by tomatoes, followed by cucumbers, then chickpeas, feta, and dressing. Then our next directions say to mix until everything is combined and all of our ingredients are coated with dressing. So we have our salad mixers here, and we're going to toss our salad. Be careful not to spill, but if you do, that's okay. And just try to mix it until it's all coated. Okay, now that it's all mixed, we can move on to our next step, which says to serve and enjoy. So we'll grab a little bowl for us. And scoop our salad in, making sure to get all of that good stuff in there, whether chickpeas, tomatoes, and cheese. And there you go. You see how easy it was to put it together once we had our ingredients prepared. So now you can go and enjoy your Mediterranean chopped salad. Enjoy.